Imagine you're standing in the middle of a frozen lake. It's late winter.
Okay.
The surface looks solid, maybe a little rough, a little gray, but solid enough to walk on. But if you get down on your hands and knees and put your ear right against the ice, you hear something terrifying.
Right.
You hear water rushing violently underneath. You hear the foundation cracking inch by inch.
That is a visceral image. And unfortunately for the people we're discussing today, it's not just a metaphor. It is the political reality on the ground.
That sound of cracking ice is exactly what you need to keep in mind to understand the atmosphere in Taiwan as we hit February 2026. We are in what analysts are calling the pre-skirmish phase. It feels quiet, but the physics of the situation are, well, they're unstable.
Right. It's quiet on the surface. There are no riots, no, mass protests in the streets just yet. But underneath, inside one of the oldest political parties in Asia, the pressure is building to a catastrophic breaking point.
So today, we are doing a deep dive into that pressure. We've combed through a stack of analysis, internal party memos, and electoral strategy reports focused on the Kuomintang, the KMT.
And the picture that emerges is of a massive internal crisis that threatens to, literally tear the party in two.
We're talking about a widening, perhaps unbridgeable schism between the party's central leadership in Taipei and its local power players scattered across the island.
And this isn't ancient history. The sources we have are analyzing specific maneuvers happening right now in early 2026.
We're looking at party dynamics, economic policy fights, and some truly cutthroat election strategies.
The central theme here is survival, pure and simple.
Survival is usually pretty dramatic. So what is our mission for this deep dive? What are we trying to uncover?
Our mission is to figure out why a major historic political party might be on the verge of a historic abandonment.
A historic abandonment.
Yeah, the sources are pointing to a scenario where local mayors and what are effectively local warlords decide to, just cut ties with their own headquarters to survive the 2026 elections.
That's a huge move. That's like a franchise owner taking down the corporate sign because the brand has become toxic.
That is actually a perfect analogy. The brand is failing, but the local restaurant still wants to sell burgers. We'll come back to that.
Okay, before we get into the why and the how, let's set the stage with the who. Who are the main characters in this drama?
On one side, occupying the central fortress, you have KMT chairperson Cheng Li-wen. She represents the Central Party machine.
Okay.
And in the current landscape of 2026, she is heavily associated with a specific faction, the Deep Blue, or pro-China faction.
And on the other side?
On the other side, you have the local warlords. Now, warlords sounds aggressive, but in Taiwan's political context, these are the heavyweights with real grassroots power.
Right.
We're talking about people like Liu Xiaoyan, the mayor of Taichung, Wan An, the mayor of Taipei, and Hao Yu-yi in New Taipei.
So headquarters versus the field commanders.
Precisely. And the field commanders are realizing that orders coming from headquarters might actually get them killed, politically speaking, of course.
Let's dig into that. There's a phrase that keeps popping up in the source material: surface peace, underground war. It sounds like the title of a spy novel, but what does that actually look like inside a functioning political party?
It looks like a very awkward Thanksgiving dinner. Everyone is smiling, passing the gravy, but nobody's making eye contact, and everyone has a knife under the table.
Okay.
The core tension here is ideological, but it has very practical consequences.
Break that down for us. What's the ideological wedge?
It comes down to the label red unification. Chairperson Cheng Li-wen's leadership has been aggressively labeled with this tag.
So in the Taiwan political spectrum, blue is the KMT, green is the ruling DPP, and red.
Red implies alignment with the Chinese Communist Party.
And in the political climate of 2026, I'm guessing red is not a winning color.
It's toxic. The sources describe it as a fatal wound for anyone trying to win a single-seat election.
Explain that distinction. Why does it matter if it's a single-seat election?
Great question. If you are running for a city council seat, you might only need, 5 or 10% of the vote to get in? You can appeal to the radical fringe. You can be extreme.
But if you're running for mayor...
You need 51%.
Yeah.
You need the middle. You need the moderates.
Right. You can't win a majority with just the radical base.
Exactly. So if you are Liu Xiaoyan or Wan An, and you are trying to win over the average voter, being seen as cozy with a red unification agenda is it's suicide.
So how are these mayors dealing with it? Are they fighting back openly, calling press conferences and denouncing the chair?
No, and that's why it's an underground war. They aren't shouting, they are evading. It's the art of the ghost.
The art is a ghost.
Some posters point to a specific event from late 2025, the KMT National Congress.
This is usually the big pep rally, right? Confetti, holding hands. We are one big happy family.
Traditionally, yes, it's the moment for the unity photo. But at the 2025 Congress, the heavyweights were missing.
Missing how?
Qiang Wanan from Taipei, absent. Chang Sancheng from Taiwan, absent. Hao Yui from New Taipei, absent.
Wait, the mayors of the biggest cities, the actual faces of the party, just didn't show up to their own convention.
They ghosted it. The sources call this a silent backlash. They are absolutely terrified of being photographed standing next to Cheng Li-wen.
Wow.
They know that if that photo exists, their opponents will plaster it on billboards with the caption, pro-China.
That is incredible discipline. It's like refusing to be in the family Christmas card because you know it'll hurt your credit score.
It's strategic survival. And it's not just a feeling. The strategists know the math. We have a quote here from an internal strategist, Kai Zhengguan. He puts it very bluntly.
What did he say?
He said that local candidates need hundreds of thousands of votes to win. But the party chair, she's chosen by a closed circle of party members, a much smaller, much more ideological group.
So the incentives are completely misaligned. The chair plays to the base, but the mayors have to play to the public.
Right. Kai's quote was essentially, legislators and mayors aren't as stupid as Cheng Li-wen. They know how to count votes.
Ouch. Aren't as stupid as... That is not a subtle critique. That's an open insult.
It shows the level of disdain the practical politicians have for the ideological leadership. They view the central ideology as a liability, not an asset.
Okay, so we have this ideological allergy. That makes sense. But usually in politics, money talks louder than ideology. Is this just about branding, or is there something tangible at stake here?
You hit the nail on the head. This is where the story shifts from awkward family drama to active crisis. The gunpowder barrel, as the sources call it, isn't just feelings, it's the economy.
The economy.
Specifically, the U.S.-Taiwan tariff agreement.
Okay, catch us up on this. Tariffs can be dry, but I have a feeling this is important. What's the deal?
So the administrative branch, which is currently run by the DPP, has finalized a negotiation with the U.S. to lower tariffs to a flat 15%. For a trade-dependent economy like Taiwan, this is huge.
Huge how?
It lowers the cost of doing business and secures access to the U.S. market.
Sounds like a slam dunk. Lower taxes, better trade. Who says no to that?
Well, the KMT Central Party does. Cheng Li-wen's faction has taken a hardline stance against it. They are ordering the party legislators to attack the deal as selling out Taiwan or a black box operation.
So they want to block it in the legislature.
Exactly.
Wait, I'm confused. The KMT is traditionally the pro-business party. Why would they block a tax cut for their own business base?
Because of ideology. The central leadership sees this trade deal as a move to distance Taiwan from China and align it closer with the U.S. That contradicts their red unification stance. They want to scorch the earth. They'd rather burn down the deal than let the ruling party get a win or let Taiwan drift further from Beijing.
So they are prioritizing their geopolitical goals over the immediate economic needs of their constituents. That seems risky.
Risky is an understatement. It's putting the local mayors in an impossible position. Enter Lu Xiuyan, the mayor of Taichung.
Right, Taichung. For our listeners who don't know the geography, Taichung isn't just about suncakes and tourism.
No, not at all. Taichung is the industrial heart of Taiwan. It's the hub for traditional industries. Machine tools, precision machinery, hardware.
So these are the people who actually make things and sell them abroad.
Exactly. For these constituents, a tariff drop to 15% is a lifeline. It's the difference between profitability and bankruptcy.
So Lu Xiuyan is caught between her boss, who says, kill the deal, and her voters and her donors who say, we need this deal.
Precisely. And she chose the voters. Her response to the party's order to attack the deal was fascinatingly subtle.
What'd she say?
She publicly stated, the government has done its best. Let's focus on the economy.
That sounds very polite. The government has done its best. It sounds like something you say when you get a bad haircut.
To you and me, it sounds polite. But in the coded language of party politics, that is open insubordination. She is effectively saying, I'm ignoring your order to burn this down because my city needs this money. The sources call it a soft backlash.
It's polite defiance. Bless your heart, but no.
Exactly. And the stakes are incredibly high for the local machines. The source material highlights specific regions like Changhua and Yilan. Changhua is run by the Xi family system.
The Xi family system?
Yes. In Taiwan, Local politics is often dominated by powerful families or factions. We call them Defiance.
And these factions are greased by
Local business donations. The owners of the machine tool factories write the checks that pay for the rallies, the billboards, the mobilize the vote efforts.
I see where this is going.
If the party central successfully blocks this tariff deal, the source uses a very graphic phrase, orders will bleed like a river.
Meaning business will be lost.
A lot of it. And if the local financial backers, the people paying for the campaigns, see their orders drying up because of their own party's obstructionism.
They close the checkbook.
Or worse, they revolt. The source warns of a potential for defection or a refusal to campaign. Imagine the local machine just stopping. No free lunch boxes, no tour buses for voters, no mobilization.
That turns a blue sky district into a green land overnight.
Immediately. So the Central Party is playing an ideological game that is actively threatening the wallets of their own local power base. It's almost suicidal.
It creates a situation where the local mayors have to protect their donors from their own party leader.
It's completely inverted the normal power structure. The head is attacking the body.
That is a wild dynamic. But it gets even messier, doesn't it? Because this isn't just a two-party system anymore. We have a third wheel.
Ah, yes. The TPP, the Taiwan People's Party.
Mm-hmm.
And specifically, figures like Ko Wen-je and Huang Kuo-chang.
We need to talk about the little blue poison.
Right. So blue, green, now white for the TPP. It's a very colorful political spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
But let's focus on Huang Kuo-chang. He's an interesting figure. He used to be very anti-China, right?
He was, yeah.
But the analysis suggests he is shifting. He is accelerating a pro-China shift, potentially even planning a visit to China to seek roots. He's moving into that deep blue ideological space that the KMT Central Party occupies.
Okay, but why is that a problem for the KMT? Usually you want allies. If the TPP is moving closer to the KMT's position, shouldn't they be happy?
And not if those allies are trying to eat their lunch. You have to look at the local level again.
Oh.
Look at the new Taipei crisis. There's a scenario where the KMT and TPP form a coalition, a blue-white alliance, and run Huang Kuo-chang for mayor of New Taipei.
And the local KMT factions in New Taipei don't want that.
They hate it. They view him as an invasive species.
Invasive species. That's harsh.
It's accurate to how they feel. If Huang runs as a pro-China spokesperson under their banner, he drags the entire local ticket down with him.
Oh, right, the red label again. If the candidate for mayor is waving that flag, it hurts every city councilor running below him.
Precisely. The voters who are turned off by the pro-China rhetoric won't just vote against the mayor, they'll vote against the whole party.
So he nationalizes the election around ideology, which is exactly what the local warlords are trying to avoid.
They want the election to be about trash pickup, roads, and the economy, not reunification.
So the local factions in New Taipei would rather run their own candidate and lose than support Huang and let him destroy their grassroots network.
Yes, they see him as poison. They would rather lose the battle to win the war of survival. They are calculating that if they let him in, he will hollow out their support base for a generation.
This is getting incredibly complicated. You have the center fighting the locals, the donors fighting the ideologues, and a third party trying to crash the wedding.
Right.
What about down south? The KMT usually struggles in the south of Taiwan. What's the strategy there?
The southern strategy is fascinating because it creates even more distance from the center. We're looking at figures like Ko Chien Kilchiano and Shilin Che and Tainan.
Now, these people were nominated by the Central Party, right? They are the KMT's designated champions.
They were. They were Cheng Li-wen's picks.
Yeah.
But look at what they're saying. The irony is thick here. To survive politically in southern Taiwan, which is traditionally very green, very pro-DPP and pro-independence, they have to pivot.
Pivot out.
They are pivoting hard to a native blue rhetoric.
Native blue? What does that mean?
It means local-centric. They are talking about local issues, Taiwanese identity, and local development. They are deliberately distancing themselves from the pro-China, anti-U.S. tone coming from their boss in Taipei.
So they are practically running as independents who just happen to have a KMT logo tucked away in their back pocket.
Effectively, yes. They are saying, ignore the crazy talk from Taipei. Look at me, I'm local, I care about Tainan. It's another form of survival. They know that if they run as Cheng Li-wen's candidate, they will get slaughtered at the polls.
It seems like everyone is running away from the party chair. It's a centrifugal force. So if we zoom out, what does this actually leave us with?
A functional separation.
The title of our deep dive mentions a silent civil war. But usually, civil wars have a winner and a loser. This feels more like a divorce.
It is. The expert analysis suggests that post-February 2026, the KMT will effectively be operating on two separate tracks.
Paint that picture for us. What are the two tracks?
Track 1 is the central track. This is Cheng Lei-wen, her allies, and arguably the TPP's Huang Kuo-cheng. Their focus is high-level ideology.
Right. Beijing connections, red unification.
And fighting in the legislature to paralyze defense bills and tariff deals. They are fighting the ideological war.
And track 2.
Track 2 is the local track. This is the mayors Lu Xiaoyan, Chang Wanan, Hao Yui. Their focus is completely different. They are ignoring the ideology. They're communicating with financial donors to keep the money flowing.
And I noticed in the notes they are even talking to the Americans.
Yes, this is key. They are privately contacting the AIT, the American Institute in Taiwan, to reassure the U.S. that they aren't anti-American, despite what their party chair says.
So the mayors are conducting their own foreign policy because they don't trust the party line.
They're doing their own diplomacy, and when they get radical orders from Central, they treat them with selective hearing.
Selective hearing. I love that. Oh, sorry. The phone reception in City Hall is terrible. I didn't get that order to destroy the local economy.
Precisely. Oh, you wanted me to protest the tariff reduction? I must have missed the memo.
So what does this lead to?
The source predicts a political spectacle that we have never seen before in Taiwan. They call it local feudal lords collectively abandoning the party central.
Abandoning the party central. That is a historic shift. It really reinforces that franchise analogy. The local owners are realizing the corporate brand is poison, so they are taking the sign down and just selling the burgers.
That is the perfect way to view it. And the catalyst is the 2026 election. If the red label from the center becomes too heavy to carry, the locals will simply drop it.
They won't leave the party formally, perhaps?
No, they won't turn in their membership cards, but they will hollow it out.
So the brain of the party will be shouting orders, but the body, the mayors, the councilors, the local machines, will be walking in the opposite direction.
Correct. The central leadership wants purity. The locals just want to survive the vote.
And in a democracy, survival usually wins. You can't govern if you don't win.
And you can't win if you alienate your voters and bankrupt your donors. Ideology is a luxury for people who don't have to face the voters in a general election.
Right. The mayors are in the trenches. They know what the voters want: stability, economic growth, and no drama.
Which brings us back to that frozen lake analogy we started with. The ice is cracking. The question is, will the central leadership realize the ice is breaking before they fall in, or are they too focused on the horizon to look down?
It sounds like the local leaders have already moved to safe ground.
I think so. They're watching from the shore, waiting to see if the center sinks.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Why should you care about the internal bickering of a political party in Taiwan?
Because this isn't just gossip. It shows us the mechanics of how politics actually works. It proves that economic realities, like a 15% tariff rate, can shatter political alliances faster than any scandal.
It's a reminder that politics is local. When the rubber meets the road, or when the machine tool meets the export market ideology, often takes a back seat.
Absolutely. And for anyone watching the region, it signals that the KMT is not a monolith. You cannot look at a statement from the party chair and assume it represents the mayor of Taipei or Taichung.
You have to look at who is actually holding the power on the ground.
Yes.
Which brings us to our final thought for today. We've talked about the silent civil war and the two-track party, but I want to leave you with a question to mull over.
It's the logical conclusion of this trend.
If the local mayors and the financial backers decide that the party central is actively harming their wallets and their election chances, will we see a formal split? Or will the KMT simply become a zombie brand, where the head is still screaming ideological slogans, but the body has completely detached and moved on?
Can a party survive when its head and its body are living in two different realities?
That is the multi-million-dollar question for 2026, and the answer might determine the future of Taiwan's democracy. Thanks for diving deep with us today.
We'll be watching the ice closely.
See you next time.